Hi guys, welcome to We Built a Gym episode 18. Thank you for joining us and tuning in. So today's episode is going to be about something pretty cool.
Cool?
Well, maybe for the people hearing it, but not for us. But
Scandalous.
first, a little update on life and how it's going. So obviously, coronavirus is still affecting us all. Things are still closed and restrictions are still in place, but I think we're getting one step closer. From the 1st of June, the government in the UK has basically announced that you can meet up with people up to groups of 6 outdoors, not in people's homes, but outdoors and stuff like that. So there's just a bit less restriction, a bit less of full lockdown and a bit more normality, which is great. And we're hoping that it is not that far now for gyms or outdoor gym or something like that to be allowed and good to go.
We were ready to launch. So when it said groups of 6 and you can exercise, and it used an example that you could play golf in 4s and 6s, that 6 mates could go and kick a football around in the park as long as they don't tackle each other. And we were going to use that. We thought that was the moment that we could do outdoor Metcons in groups of 6 or 5 people and a coach. So we were ready to go with that. We had a timetable ready, posts ready to announce it, launch it, systems ready. And then in their official announcement, the government specifically said, no outdoor gyms.
Yeah.
So that obviously meant we had to check that idea, shelve it, keep it for another time. But I think one step closer.
It can't be far off, can it? Like, it really can't be.
Shops open soon.
Yeah.
IKEA opens tomorrow.
Perfect. Meatballs.
No. The cafe is closed.
What? I've never had the meatballs from IKEA. I don't know if they're any good or not.
They're average.
I normally get lost within like 2 minutes of getting in there. And when I say that, like I've been there a million times, been there twice.
The worst
Twice
part
in my
about their meatballs is like the furniture. You have to build them yourself.
Let's plug it together.
That you basically just buy a cow.
To cook it and
Get to work. Obviously milk it first.
Fun experience all around though.
So today, episode 18, we're going to do something that people have asked us to do for a long time. Today, we're going to share a scandalous story. A story that no one knows, we've never told before. We're not actually sure if we're allowed to tell it. But today, I'm going to tell you about the time that we got sued. So, let's just dive in. So it is true, we have, in our 2 years of operation, we got sued. So really early on, before you worked here actually.
It was before I was here.
It was opening month, basically. Someone sued us. So in our opening month, lots of brand new members, hundreds of people that have obviously never used a gym before. Lots of them hadn't used a gym before. So they had no knowledge. So we were doing full inductions, hour-long inductions, individually, not in groups, really trying our best to give just like dedicated time to people. One of the problems was I was still teaching. So Tim was doing all of the inductions just back to back to back. He was flat out working really, really hard. But I'm not suggesting he was tired. I'm not suggesting he didn't do a good job or anything like that. None of that is true. But I'm just demonstrating the fact that we were really doing our best to provide as many as possible. A lady, I genuinely have forgotten her name. So it's not that I am not sharing it. I don't remember it. Was one of those people who wanted a full induction.
Yeah.
She wanted a full hour. Let's go. Tim started her induction off. She seemed really nervous. She seemed a bit tentative about being in a gym. So he was really quite gentle with her and took his time to demonstrate everything and showed her like the really important things that she'd need to know, and then told her that she could actually have more than one induction.
Yeah,
so if it helped her confidence and it helped boost her, he would book her in for another one and they could re-go over stuff and make sure she's happy. So she comes in for induction, she's nervous, she's a bit tentative. Tim's really good with her. Halfway round, Tim gets her to the lat pull down low row. And Tim's showing her how all the attachments work, how, you change off one handle and put on a new attachment, things like that. And when he's showing her, someone else who's in the gym training asks him for some advice on how to set up a squat rack. And he says to the guy, like, give me a minute, mate. I'm doing an induction, but just give me a minute. So Tim shows this lady how to use the lat pull down. They change the attachment, get just a neutral grip bar in. And he says, how comfortable do you feel? And she says, well, this is really simple. I know how to do this. This is just grab bar, sit down, pull towards me. Tim demonstrates a few reps, sorry. Really lightweight. She's like, cool. And he's like, what about if you do a set of 8 to 10 reps and I'll just go and help him and I'll come back, you tell me how it felt. I'll watch your first couple to make sure you're doing it right. He watches her, she's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
He watches their first couple of reps. They're great, they're fine. So he's like, great, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Turns around to help a guy. It's just changing J-hooks. That's all it is. Changing a J-hook.
Yeah, in and out.
So imagine how long he's gone for, what?
30 seconds maybe?
Yeah. And he helps this guy change the J-hooks. When he's helping the guy change the J-hooks, he hears a big bang. And he turns around, and the lady has her hands over so our lat pull down has kind of like a raised metal bit where you can change the
to do
knee
leg
support
position,
height.
yeah, so for leg support.
Yeah. She has her hands on there, and that neutral grip bar is on top of her arms. Now, there is a bang, so I don't know. Basically, she says that she was doing it, and the bar fell out of the carabiner clip and landed on her arms. Well, if you think about how you hold a lat pull-down bar, if that fell out, wouldn't it just go like, bam, like that?
That's basically legitimately not possible.
So, she says the bar fell across her wrists, like that, kind of like pinned them down. And it was, it really, really hurt. So Tim, obviously really experienced, working in gyms, deputy manager of gyms before and stuff, goes into health and safety procedures, kind of medical first aid stuff. He offers her everything. She says no to everything. He offers her an ice pack. He offers her, like cold compression stuff, all of that. Asks if he can have a look, asks how she feels. She basically says, it hurt, but she's fine. She says, it hurt, but I'm fine. Do you mind if we pause this here and we'll pick it up another time? And he's like, absolutely. He asks her, would she mind signing the incident report book? So we've got that log. She says no and leaves. But she's not angry, she's not aggressive, she's not abusive. She just says, oh, no, I'm not signing the book. I don't need anything. I'll book in for another one. And Tim's
so just like sort of standard like initial gym incident, no like aggressiveness from her, no indication that there would be any sort of further issues.
Exactly that. And much to the opposite. She was saying she wanted a second induction.
Yeah.
So Tim, he's talking to me about it, and he's concerned for her just because he knew she was nervous, and he hopes that it doesn't increase that anxiety.
Yeah, obviously that's the last thing you want, when you're trying to demonstrate stuff to members, and especially new members, you want to try and make everyone feel comfortable in the gym, and whether they be new or experienced. So it's always a shame when something like that happens.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So he's just concerned about that. Just, I hope she feels comfortable to come back. And we're like, it's a shame she didn't sign the incident report book, but we can get her to do it next time she's in. That's fine. Strange she didn't want an ice pack, but maybe she was just a bit embarrassed that something had happened. We couldn't really fully understand what had happened because it didn't make sense, but we didn't want to doubt her or, you want to take people on their word, trust them, and just try and help them.
Yeah.
So a few weeks go by. Later that day, the lady's husband emails us and says, please cancel my wife's membership and refund her membership fees. Now, normally, we take a month's notice, 30-day notice period. But because we're just trying to be good people, knowing her situation, knowing what's happened, she was anxious enough anyway. Maybe she just feels like, I've made a wrong decision.
Yeah, you don't want to add to it and be like, no, and not that we would do that anyway, but
ultimately, what's
accommodate.
30 quid?
Yeah.
So we say, absolutely. It's a really nice email. Actually, I say that. I think I wrote it. I think it was really I was really careful about how I worded it because I wanted her to not feel embarrassed or anything like that, and just know that fair enough. So we immediately refund, and we just wish her all the best, and we say, like, hopefully we'll see you again in the future. If there's anything we can ever do to help you, just let us know.
In those situations, it's always like easiest to just be accommodating, isn't it? And just
100%.
be understanding, accommodate
100%.
someone's sort of thoughts and feelings, and respect the decision they've made in that regard. So
yeah, everyone makes a mistake, like in terms of signing up for something they don't want.
That's it.
And that's the beauty of not being a 12-month contract.
Yeah, you don't need to get signed into something you don't want after halfway through, So.
Yeah. So anyway, a few weeks pass after that. I'm working. And do you ever have one of those moments, like, when I was younger, I used to think I had like a special power. Do you ever think about someone and like that you haven't seen in ages, and like the next day they ring you or they text you?
Yeah, I've had that before, and it's weird. Really weird.
A few weeks later, I'm just sat at the desk doing some admin work, and the postman walked in, and I just got like a feeling. I was like...
That wave of like,
And like, I was like, oh, and he comes up, he hands me this massive envelope, like A4 envelope, and it's thick. And I was like, oh, thanks, mate, have a good day. Open it up, and it's paperwork from a law firm informing us that this lady is suing us for negligence, saying that the incident was our fault and that we injured her. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I noticed was that the law firm was in Manchester. And I thought, that's strange.
Yeah.
We live in the south of England. The law firm you've chosen is in Manchester.
About 4 hours from Manchester, to put it into perspective. So a good way. Yeah.
So I looked the law firm up, and I noticed that they're a no-win, no-fee law firm. And I think, look them up a bit more. They're the kind of law firm that you go to when you think, something's happened, I might be able to get a bit of money out of this here.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take any risks.
Yeah.
So they, I'm sure, take a large cut of any money that you get from them.
So you're not going to be forking out initially for it, but then if you do win the claim, then obviously...
Yeah. So the paperwork comes in. Basically, it details her record of the event, which is mostly accurate. It doesn't disparage Tim in any way. It doesn't say that he was negligent towards her or anything like that. Because he wasn't. He was there helpful, and there are actually eyewitnesses to support that.
Yeah.
But it says that due to a fault in the machine, she was injured. Now, she had to do a tick box questionnaire survey.
Tricky one.
Now, the questions were, did you have any long-term pain? She ticked no. Did you have to miss work? She ticked no. Did you seek medical attention? She ticked no. Mm-hmm. Did you need physiotherapy? She ticked no. Did it impact you in any way and limit your capacity in life? She ticked no. She ticked no for everything.
So all the basics, yeah.
And then at the end, was still suing us for money.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do you want the money for?
Yeah, it's not like you'd be covering sort of physiotherapy costs or, if it was anything severe, then that's something that would actually cost you something. It was just...
100%.
That's a bit of a strange claim for sure.
So we get those papers, me and Tim look over them, we're like... Anyway, we speak to our insurers who are fully confident that we're fully covered. We have one of those £5 million or £20 million or whatever liability insurance
nice
packages.
sort of big cover.
So like if anyone dies, we're fine kind of thing. So we speak to them, they're fine, and they inform us that one of their kind of assessment team will come out. So the assessment team comes out, it's a really nice guy, makes an appointment, comes out, he asks us for our version of the event, and we've printed out all the stuff. Tim actually made an incident report book file, she just never signed it.
Yeah.
So we had that, we had the email from her husband and our response, all bits like that. We had all this paperwork, we had our insurance forms there just in case. And the assessor asked us to take him through what happened. And what he did was, he read her version of the events and he tried to reenact that. And I remember it, his quote was, if gravity works the way we think it does, her version of events is impossible. Because he looked at the carabiner clip, he looked at how they lock in, how you're pulling down on it, and he said, it is impossible.
Yeah, for that to be in the fault of the machine, like, it's, yeah.
Another thing we had
true.
to prove, because obviously we were brand new, so all our stuff was brand new,
Yeah.
but we had done pre-opening checks on all of the equipment. And we had maintenance logs for those first few weeks as well. And we actually had a maintenance report on the lat pull down.
Yeah.
Because when it arrived, its cable was frayed, and we got them to change the cable. So we had proof that not only were we doing basic maintenance checks, that we'd done these in-depth checks on brand new equipment.
And made an upgrade to obviously ensure like further safety and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Proving there was no negligence. So he says, to summarise, don't worry about it. No problems here. You're clearly doing everything that you should do. You're clearly actually going above and beyond.
Gone through the procedures and yeah.
Gravity doesn't work like that. Great. We then hear absolutely nothing for months. I actually contacted the assessment guy that came out. Nothing, didn't reply. So I just forget about it.
Yeah.
I assume she's been told, sling your hook, and that's fine.
Yeah, nothing's happening there. Yeah.
So we hear nothing. However many months later, our insurance policy's up for renewal, our annual renewal. We contact our insurers and we say, well, why has it gone up? It had gone up by not a huge amount, but an amount. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And they said, well, there's a claim out against you, an unsettled claim. And I was like, what, that thing from a year ago? And they were like, yeah, that hasn't been settled yet. And I was like, okay. And then, whether this is a lie or the truth, it, funnily enough, got settled that week. And they contacted us and they said, in cases like this, it's more expensive for us to fight it than to settle. So rather than spend $7,000 on legal fees,
Yeah, and all the procedures that involve that. Yeah.
they just say, here's some money, go away.
Yeah.
So that woman, that lady, got $3,500 out of our insurers for nothing. She got $3,500 for nothing. And that makes me angry. We didn't have to pay anything. We never saw any financial problems from it. We didn't suffer any reputational problems locally.
Yeah.
But just being a human being and thinking about decency, that person's conned the system.
Yeah, especially like you guys are saying you're a new business, you just set up, like it's pretty savage, isn't it? Like obviously Tim was doing his best and there were procedures in place and then that still happened. It's just a bit like, just one of those kind of moral things where it's a little bit out of order,
like
you know.
an opportunist.
So yeah, it's like me going to a bakery or like a little cafe that's just set up and claiming they gave me food poisoning and trying to get some money out of them, similar things, and then being like, no, we have food checks and all that, but
Yeah, or to any business. Do you know what I mean? Like doing it to McDonald's, doing it to anyone.
yeah,
Just like be a decent person. Don't lie. Don't try and con the system. One good thing is that because of that slight increase in our premium, we actually went to a different insurance broker and we got our insurance a lot cheaper. So that was great. We ended up saving money on our insurance. But that it just wrangled me that lady, in my mind, saw an opportunity to try and make a quick buck and just didn't have the moral fibre to know, well, that's not the right thing to do. I'm lying here. And yeah, $3,500, however much the no-win, no-fee people take, maybe we could say 50%?
Yeah,
I don't know. That is annoying. And we've never, ever had anything since. To be honest, we didn't change anything. We didn't change any procedures because we were so confident in everything that we did, in our daily, weekly, monthly checks, in our record keeping of that, in the standard of inductions that we carry out. Basically, the lady's a bit of a con artist. And that wrangles you just as a person because, well, sure, I'd love to lie and get $3,500.
yeah. Anyone would.
But I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. I think obviously if you're working in that customer service, customer relationship kind of thing, then it's going to happen. Like, I don't know if I've said this story on the podcast before, but yeah, when I used to work in one of my old jobs at a leisure centre, we used to have to run the classes in the gym. And basically we always got complaints about the decibel level of the spin classes, because obviously the instructor would, get all hyped up, get some energy into it.
There's no spin studio.
No, it wasn't a studio. It wasn't like a separated barrier. It was just like spin in the gym, and it would happen, I don't know, 4 times a day. And, I got someone come up to me. I was like, oh, hello, sir. And, it was just an immediate, like, shout in your face kind of thing. That's far too loud. Turn it down. Look, I've got a decibelometer on my phone. Yeah.
He's shouting at you about the decibel.
About the noise, yeah. Like, show me a decibel level reader on his phone. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try and get it turned down. You just kind of just feel like you're taking a battering, like, not emotionally, because that's like, it's not an emotional event, but just feel like you're taking the hits.
Unnecessary beating.
Yeah, kind of, yeah, just a flogging,
It's like the people now that are out there, like we talked about earlier, like it's a one-way system in the shopping centres, in the Tesco's and stuff, and you need something that's at the end of the aisle, and you can just reach in, and you do that, and they're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like, come on, don't be a busybody.
Everyone looking to police.
And like we said last week as well, like, and I saw this in articles as well, and on Facebook and stuff like that, about businesses reopening. Like you said, they're going to have procedures. They might make some mistakes, and have some errors. But the last thing you want to do is, go and like destroy them on social media, or like out them to other people of the public and be like, look what they're doing. They've screwed up. Never visit the, like, this is just not a fair thing to do. Go talk to the owner, go talk to one of the staff, and just be like, look, like, this could be improved, blah, blah, blah. And they'll probably do it, and they will implement it, rather than going that step further, and just really trying to dig it in. It's just, it's not needed, especially on an independent business. Like, it's always, I always feel, I've seen loads of stories where independent business has just taken like the most savage, like, hit from something that they probably shouldn't have. So
it's definitely crazy times. I drove through somewhere yesterday, and I saw a sign that one of the residents had put up, and it said, "This is a COVID-19 free town. You're not welcome here, public." It's like, whoa, is that what we're doing? We're segregating, are we?
Yeah.
That assumption that we've all got the Rona, or that we're like carrying around bottles of Rona juice, and we're like,
yeah, here it is. Yeah.
Take that. But that is it. That is the story of our one and only lawsuit. The time we got sued for no fault of our own. Funnily enough, the lady's never shown her face again. But that is it. That is our scandalous story for the week.
Lovely. Be sure to subscribe so you can watch us again. And if you made it this far, then drop that video a like and keep following us, share it around, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.